The 1.6 patch comes, so I decide to start a new farm. And the one I like the most is the Four Corners farm. But before we start, I want to tell you that this video took me more than a month to complete. If you like and subscribe, I will appreciate it. Let's get it started. Day 1, I start clear little the farm. I start cutting some trees, plant my parsnips, and craft a chest to store my items. Go to Pierre's shop to buy more parsnip, and I start run around, gathering as much forageables I can find. I find something that only a master of the 5 ways may enter. I don't know what is that for now, but I find some carrot seeds. So I go back to my farm and plant all the seeds I have. I start my day 2 by checking my mailbox, and I receive a mail for Willie to visit him because he got something for me. So I start watering my crops like usual, and when I finish I go to the beach to see Willie, and he give me bamboo pole. So I continue to go around and gather as much forageables I can find. I throw them in the box, and I go down on my farm to break some copper's ores. And after, I spend a lot of time to fishing on the mountain until my backpack is full with a lot of fish. And to finish the day, I go back to my farm, sell all the fish I got, and plant some rice seed that I find in a treasure chest. I check the weather report on TV, and it will be a raining day tomorrow. So I go to sleep. Day 3, it's a raining day and Quint visit me to give me the blueprint for furnace. I go and buy a training rod to be more easy to fishing, and I start fishing until I make the amount of gold that I need to buy the fiberglass rod and some baits after. I go to the museum to donate some artifacts that I find in treasure chest. After, I go to the mountains to continue the fishing until night. And in the end, I go back to my farm. So all the fish I got, and I go to bed to sleep. I got level 3 fishing. Day 4, I start by watering my crops and chop some trees to create a chest that I will place close to the river to store my fish when my back is full. Then I start fishing until 1 a.m. After all this fishing, I go back to my farm. I sold some fish and I passed out before I go to sleep. But my fishing now is level 5, and I choose the profession fisher. Now the fish is worth 25% more. Day 5, Marnie visit me and find a dog sitting outside of my farm. So I decide to adopt this dog and I name it Wolf. I continue by harvest my parsnips, and I start cleaning my farm to prepare for the crops that I will buy soon. So I go to the Pierre's shop, and I buy as much potato seeds I can. I go back to my farm to plant them and watering them. After, I go to the cave and receive of the rusty sword. And after, I go to the mountain and I start fishing. I got the most valuable fish I have in the box, and I go to my farm to sell them. The day is done and I got level 1 farming. And with all the fish I sold, I got 3,360 gold. Day 6. When I wake up, I check my mailbox and I got cookies. After, every time when you wake up, you watering your crops. Time to chop some woods to craft a chest. I go to the cave and I create 1 furnace. I place the furnace and the box inside of the cave. I store my item in the chest to have space to start exploring the cave. On the 6th floor, I find a small glow ring, and on the 7th floor, I find a wood club. This is very helpful weapon for start. I reach the 10th floor and I go the leather boots. After, I go out of the cave. I eat 1 fish to get energy and start fishing until midnight. I take all the fish I got and I go back to my farm to sell them. Day 6 is done. I got level 1 mining and level 6 fishing. Day 7. I see a crow eating my crops, but I don't care, so I start like usual. Watering my crops, I check my mailbox, and I got mail by Marlin to slay 10 slimes to become Adventurer Guild member. So I go to the mountain and I start fishing, but not all day, because I want to go more deep in the cave. I put some copper to melt and I start exploring the cave. The first 5 floors that I go down, it was quite easy, not too much difficult to find the stairs. When I kill a slime on the 15th floor, I find a mining monthly book, so I read it. I continue to go more deep in the mine, and on the 18th floor I find a diamond. I successfully reach the 20th floor with 0 energy left, So I go back home, sell some fish, and I go to sleep. I got level to mining and level 1 combat. Day 8 I start by watering my crops, and after I go to Pierre's shop to upgrade my backpack, and I go back to my farm to chop some trees, to craft a scarecrow after I go to the mountain, and I spent the rest of the day fishing. I go back to my farm and sell all the fish I catch, and I go to sleep. My fishing now is level 7. Day 9, I start by watering my plants and I go to the cave. I start going more down and I reach level 25. And I see I was close to run out of energy. So I go out of the cave and start fishing. When I was fishing, I catch a river jelly. And when I have a good amount of fish, I go back to the cave in this time. It take me more time to find the stairs, but at the end I reach level 30 in the mines. I go back to my farm to sell few stuffs and I go to sleep. Now my mining is level 3. Day 10, I start by watering my crops. After I go to the blacksmith to upgrade my pickaxe. But today we have 10 and is the birthday of Vincent. So I go and give him a daffodil, and I think he like it a lot. Now that I don't have the pickaxe on me, I spend the rest of the day fishing around. I fishing until midnight, and after I go back to my farm. I sold all the fishes and I go to sleep. Day 11 my potatoes is ready, but first I check my mail and I have 2 mails. The first mail is for my mom. She found an envelope with some money that Grandpa left for me. And the second mail is for Robin, to find an axe that she lost. I start harvest my potatoes, and I start to preparing the land for the crop that I will buy when the Pierre shop will open. I go to Pierre's shop and I buy 110 cauliflower seeds. I go back to my farm to plant them all. I run completely out of energy, so after I plant them all, I go to sleep. My farming skill upgrade to level 3. Day 12 I see my pickaxe is ready and I check my mailbox. I realize the egg festival is tomorrow. So I continue by watering my crops, and I go to Clint to take my copper pickaxe. After I visit the JoJo Mart to buy a membership, I go close to the cave, and I start fishing a little for some fish, that they will give me energy. That way I can go more deep in the cave. I start craft some furnaces, and I place them inside of the cave. That way I can farm and melt the metals together. I start for 34, and I go until 49. That I get beat up by a beautiful slime. Morrow find me, and by surprise, I lost only 3 slimes. So I go to sleep and I got level to foraging. Day 13 is the egg festival. So I start my day by watering my crops, and I go to the village. I buy some strawberry seeds and I start the egg hunt. And of course I win and they reward me with a straw hat. After that I go to sleep. Day 14. I start my day by watering my crops, after I fishing a little for food. Before enter the cave and I find treasure with diamond inside. I start for the floor. 45 and I start go down and down until for 57. And the time is 1 a.m. so I need to go back to my farm. But unfortunately I passed out outside of my house. Well, now my combat is level 2. Day 15 I start my day by watering my crops like usual. After I start selling some ores that I find yesterday, because I passed out before I sell them. When I was going to the town, I realized the salmon berry around. So I spend all day long by running around and collecting as much salmon berry I can, because for start is the best food. That can help me to go more deep in the cave without need to fishing or buy food. Also, when I was take whatever I find in front of me. I find the lost axe of Robin, and after I go to sleep. Day 16, Demetrius visit me, and asking me what I prefer to do with my cave. Andy give to me options: a cave that attract mushroom, or a cave that attract fruit bats. Of course I choose the mushrooms. After he left, I start watering my crops and I go to the cave. This time I'll stay in the cave all day, and try to go down as many floors as I can. However, unfortunately, I passed on floor 68 because the day ending at 2 a.m. At least I get level for mining and level 3 combat. Day 17, I start my day by watering my crops. After I go to Robin to return the lost axe that I find. And I go to the mine I start for the floor 6-5. I reach the 70 floor and I got the master slingshot. But I continue and I reach the floor 7-5. But it's start to be late, so I go back to my farm. I sold some mineral that I find and I go to bed. I got level for farming because I forget to show. Then the morning I harvest 1 cauliflower. Day 18, I start the day like every other day by watering my crops, and today is the birthday of Pam. So I go to the saloon to buy a beer because is one of her favorite gift. I go around trying to find her. And when I go inside of Pierre's shop, I see that Morris give coupons for 50% discount. So I take one and I go out. And I go to Joe Jamart and I find the Pam there. So I gift her a beer. And after I go to the cave on floor 78. I find a bone sword, and on floor 80. I get the fire walker boots. After I go to my farm, and I sold few stuff that I don't need. And I go to sleep, I got level 5 mining. And I chose the passive miner +1 or Pervine. Day 19 is a raining day, so I decide to go directly to the cave. I start for the level 80. On floor 83, I find a really good sword with the name Yeti Tooth. You have really good stats. 26 to 40 to damage, plus for defense, plus 10 crit power, and +1 crit chant. So I continue to go more down, and I reach the floor 90, and on the treasure chest is a obsidian edge. Now I'm thinking about the weapon I find before. The Yeti Tooth, they don't have that much difference, and I don't know what is better. Leave a comment below if you know. It's still early, so let's continue. And I continue to go more down, and I reach the floor 100, and in the treasure chest I find my first Stardrop. Now is late, so I go back to my farm. I sell some staff, and I go to sleep and I get level for combat. Day 20, I start by watering my crops, and today is the birthday of Shane. So I go to the saloon and I buy beer for him. I start looking for him, but when I go to the beach, I find a book with the name Jack Be Nimble. Jack Be Thick, this book give +1 defense. So I read it, and when I go to the town I find Shane. So I give him a gift that probably like it a lot. Then I go up to the mountains, and I spend the rest of the day fishing. I go back to my farm and I sell the fish I caught, and some gold bars that I farm in the mine. And I go to sleep, my foraging go up to level 3, and my fishing go up to level 8. Day 21, I start by watering my crops, and after I go to check the bookseller. He sell a lot of interesting books, but for now I will not buy, because I go to Jojo to buy the mine cards, after I spend the rest of the day inside the mine. And I reach the floor 110 and I get the space boots, and I go back to my farm. I sold whatever I find and I go to sleep. I see them fixing the mine cars and I got level 6 mining and level 5 combat. Day 22, I start my day by watering my crops. After going into the cave, I smelted some metals, and then continued to explore deeper into the cave. On the floor 115, I find a prismatic shard. I will keep it for now, and don't donate it to the museum. Today I finally reached the end of the cave, and made it to floor 120, and I got the skull key. After I put some metals to smelt, I go back to my farm. Sell whatever I find and I go to sleep. Day 23, finally my cauliflowers. They are ready, so I harvest them all. After I go to Clint and I open all my geodes. And I go back and forth to the Clint and the museum to donate as much artifacts I can. And the rest of the day, I spend it by melting ores for tomorrow to craft quality sprinklers. And I go to sleep, I reach level 6 farming, and I unlock the quality sprinklers. Day 24 is the flower dance event. I don't do that much things on my farm. I just clean little my farm and I go to the dance. I buy the rare crow, and I speak to Luz to start the event. I stay there until the stop dancing, and I go back to my farm. I sell few things and I craft 25 sprinkles before I go to sleep. Day 25, I start the day by cleaning little the area of my farm. After I craft some cobblestone path to place my sprinklers on top of them, and I start place them on my farm. After I go to the cave to farm some metal to create more sprinklers, and I put them to melt. After I go to the Robin to buy some recipes, After returning to my farm, I cleared a bit more of the area and crafted some additional paths. Then I headed to the cave to retrieve the bars I had smelted earlier, which I used to make more sprinklers. Back at the farm, I placed the sprinklers and laid down some flooring before going to sleep. And I reached level 7 in mining. Day 26, I start my day by decorating my farm with some floors. After that, I head to the cave to mine some ores and put them to smelt. Later, I go to the city and find a daffodil. I remember that today is Pierre's birthday, so I give him the daffodil, and he likes it. I buy some seeds from him and check the board, where I find a mission to kill 2 squid kids. I accept the mission, go back to my farm, craft a chest, and store the seeds I bought from Pierre. Then, I return to the cave to find the squid kids. I find one on floor 91 and another on floor 105, completing the quest. When I return to the city, I see the scene where Linus is checking George's trash, but I skip it and go to sleep. Day 27 is dedicated entirely to fishing. I start the day by heading to the cave to catch some lava jelly. After that, I make my way to the sea to fish for sea jelly. I spend the rest of the day fishing for valuable catches to make some money. At the end of the day, I sell all the fish I caught and I go to sleep. On day 28, I begin by buying a rare seed. After that, I fish for a little while before heading to Clint's to pick up my newly upgraded copper axe. Then, I visit Willie to buy the recipe for a fish smoker. Later, I go to the mountain to fish, and in one of the treasure chests, I find a book titled Jewels of the Sea, so I read it. Continuing to fish, I find the book again and read it once more, but nothing happens. After catching one more fish, I return to my farm, sell all the fish I caught, and go to sleep. By the end of the day, I've reached level 4 in foraging and level 9 in fishing. Day 29 is the beginning of summer, and it's a busy day ahead as I prepare my farm for the new season. Without delay, I begin preparing my fields for planting. After I visiting Pierre's and purchasing a lot of blueberry seeds and some radish seeds. After returning to my farm, I plant all the seeds I purchased from Pierre's lots of blueberry seeds and a few radish seeds. With some extra space available, I also plant a few random seeds too. After planting all the seeds, I begin watering all my plants, but the good side, I will not need to watering them again because I already craft a lot of sprinklers. I was curious about the fish smoker, so I craft one to test it. The fish smoker to function, you need to place 1 fish and 1 piece of coal inside. It take almost 1 in-game hour to smoke it, but now is time to sleep. And yes, smoke fish is double the price. Day 30, realizing I don't have much money left, I head straight to the river to fishing. After fishing for a while, I catch a river jelly. I decide it's more efficient to smoke the fish while continuing to fishing, so I return to my farm to grab my smoker. I chop some big wood to craft another smoker, then head to the cave to collect charcoal. With both smokers in hand, I go back to my fishing spot, set up the smokers, and continue fishing until midnight. I take all the smoked fish and return to my farm. I put all the smoked fish up for sale and then go to sleep. With all this fish I sell, I take 9,463 gold. That almost 10,000 gold. I don't expect that. Day 31. I start the day by going to the cave to mine some silver ore, aiming to make silver bars for upgrading my axe. While waiting for the bars to be ready, I do some fishing. Once the silver bars are done, I head to Clint's to upgrade my axe. Next, I visit Willie's shop, where I see a cutscene. I check the price of the iridium rod but can't afford it, so I buy some largemouth bass bait to test out. Unfortunately, the new bait seems no different from the regular bait, so I continue fishing until midnight. After, I return to my farm, sell the fish I caught, and go to sleep. Day 32. I head to floor 100 of the mine to catch a lava eel, but have no luck. I then go to Willie's shop to buy an iridium fishing rod and a trap bobber to make it harder for fish to escape, as catching a lava eel is quite challenging. I return to floor 100. After fishing up a lot of trash, I finally manage to catch the lava eels. I put them in the fish smoker and spend the rest of the day fishing and smoking fish. At the end of the day, I return to my farm, sell all the smoked fish, and go to sleep. Every smoked lava eel is 2,625 gold. Day 33, I start by going to the cave to farm some silver ores. Once I have enough, I melt them into bars. After they are ready, I head to Clint's to pick up my upgraded steel axe and give him my pickaxe to upgrade. With my new steel axe, I remove the large log blocking the entrance to the secret woods. Inside, I chop all the large stumps to get some hardwood. In the town, I find another large log and a big rock behind it, but I can't do anything about the rock without my pickaxe. So, I head to the mountains to fish for the rest of the day. Afterward, I return to my farm, sell all the fish I caught, and go to sleep. Day 34. Today I start by going to the cave to kill some bugs for bug meat, which I use to make bait since Willie's shop is closed. Afterward, I head to the museum to donate some artifacts. After fishing for a while, but when I run out of energy, I visit the hot springs to regenerate. Once my energy is restored, I continue fishing until midnight. I go back at the farm, I sell all the fish I caught and plant some summer squash seeds I found, and I go to sleep. I reach level 10 in fishing and choose the angler profession, which makes my fish worth 50% more. Day 35, my radishes are ready, so I harvest them all. Then, I go to Clint to receive my steel pickaxe. I remember there's a big rock nearby, so I go to break it and see what's behind. I chop a tree and find a golden trash can behind it. Clicking on it, I receive a book titled The Alleyway Buffet. This book gives me a better chance to find items in the trash, so I read it. Afterward, I visit Willie to buy some bait. As I wander around, I see two kids playing near the sewer door, but I leave them be. I then head to the secret woods to chop some large stumps. Later, I go to Pierre's to buy a lot of melon seeds. Returning to my farm, I plant the melon seeds. With the remaining time, I fish a little in the cave and a little outside on the river. Afterward, I go back to my farm, sell everything, and go to sleep. I reach level 7 in farming and level 5 in foraging, choosing the forester profession. Day 36, I decide to spend the entire day chopping trees until I pass out at 2 a.m. Day 37, I start the day by going to the secret woods to chop some large stumps. With all the wood I farmed yesterday, I remember that I forgot to fix the bridge on the beach, so I go and repair it today. The bookseller is in town, so I buy the price catalog. It's a very useful book because it lets you see the price of items. Next, I head to the cave to farm some silver ores and charcoal. I spend the rest of the day fishing for a lava eel. Afterward, I sell everything I catch and go to sleep, and I realize that I forgot my fish smoker on the 100th floor of the mine, meaning it's gone forever. However, I reach level 6 in foraging and level 6 in combat. 38, I craft another smoker since I forgot mine on the 100th floor of the mine last night. I head to my usual fishing spot, set up the fish smoker, and spend the rest of the day fishing. Day 39, it's the luau event today. Before it starts, I do a bit of fishing. When it's time for the luau to begin, I head to the beach where the event is held. For the soup, I add an iridium quality smoked rainbow trout. During the taste test, the governor finds the soup very pleasant. After the event ends, I sell the fish I caught and go to sleep. Day 40, I check the TV and see that tomorrow will be a stormy day, so I spend the entire day in the mine farming silver, coal, and killing bats for bat wings. I put some silver ore to smelt. Once the silver bars are ready, I smelt some quartz. When the smelting is done, I return to my farm and craft 10 lightning rods, placing them next to my house. I sell everything I found in the mine and go to sleep. Day 41, when I wake up, I check the weather forecast and see some kind of anomalous reading, though I'm not sure what it means. I head to the secret woods to chop large logs and do some fishing. After catching a few fish, I find something that looks like a present, and inside is a wall basket. I then go to the mountains to fish a bit and remember that today is Alex's birthday. I find him and gift him a beer. I fish a little in town and find a treasure chest with an iridium band inside. Afterward, I return to the mountains to fish some more. Finally, I go back to my farm, sell all the fish, and go to sleep. Day 42. A strange green rain has descended upon the valley, so I venture out to investigate. I collect my battery packs and harvest all my blueberries since they are ready. Curious about the unusual weather, I check around town and find most of the citizens gathered in the saloon. Up in the mountains, I encounter Demetrius collecting samples of this weird rain, considering it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For me, it's a chance to gather fiber, moss, mossy seeds, and wood. Returning to my farm, I decide to spend the day cleaning up until I passed out near my bed at 10 a.m. Day 43. I go to the tunnel and place a battery in the box. The lockbox swings open, revealing a note. My first task is to put a rainbow shell on the train platform, signed by Mr. Che. I return to my farm, grab the shell, and head to the train platform to place it in the box. Another task appears, to place 10 beets inside the mayor's fridge. Since I don't have any beets, I go to Joja Mart and pay to repair the bus. They tell me it will be fixed tonight. Next, I visit Pierre's shop to upgrade my backpack to 36 slots. Then, I head to the beach, fish for pufferfish, and buy some ice cream. I spend the rest of the day in the cave, farming silver ore. Back at the farm, I sell everything I have and go to sleep. I see a cutscene of Joja repairing the bus and reach level 8 in mining. Day 44, I start the day by going to the cave to farm some silver or to craft bombs. Afterward, I return to my farm to grab my prismatic shard. I take the bus to the desert and place the shard between the 3 pillars in the Calico Desert to obtain the Galaxy Sword. With my new sword, I head to the Skull Cavern and spend the rest of the day exploring and mining. At 1 a.m., I return to my farm, sell whatever I found, and go to sleep. Day 45, I start the day by collecting the batteries and checking my mail. I receive a letter from Mr. Che instructing me to reach floor 25. After I go to the museum to donate some artifacts, then I head to the Skull Cavern. I spend the entire day there, delving deep into its depths. By the end of the day, I manage to reach floor 98 but eventually pass out at 10 a.m. My combat skills improve to level 7 and my mining skills to level 9. Day 46, Emily visits me to inform that I now have access to the sewing machine. Afterward, I check my mail and find that Mr. Che has rewarded me with 10,000 gold for reaching floor 25 in the Skull Cavern. I start the day by harvesting all my blueberries and collecting my battery packs. Then, I head to Pierre's to sell my blueberries and stop by Joja Mart to repair the greenhouse. Next, I visit the desert to purchase beet seeds and deluxe speed grow. Returning to my farm, I spend the rest of the day cleaning the land until I pass out at 10 a.m. I witness the cutscene of Joja Mart repairing my greenhouse. Additionally, I achieve level 8 in farming and level 7 in foraging. Day 47, Evelyn visits and gives me the recipe for a garden pot. I start the day by harvesting all my melons. Afterward, I head to the cave to farm some iron ore. Once I have enough, I go to Pierre's shop to sell my melons and then to Joja Mart to pay for the bridge repair. Back at my greenhouse, I plant the beets and use speed grow to help them grow faster. Next, I head to the cave to smelt some quartz. While waiting for the smelting process, I spend some time farming in the mines. When the quartz is ready, I replace it with iridium ore for smelting. Before returning to my farm, I craft 3 sprinklers and place them in the greenhouse. With the remaining time, I clean up my farm. Finally, I go to sleep and see the cutscene of Joja Mart fixing the bridge. I also reach level 9 in farming. Day 48, I start the day by going to the quarry and using bombs to clear everything there. Then I head to Joja Mart to pay for opening up panning. I spend the rest of the day cleaning my farm, chopping trees, and breaking stones. At midnight, I go to sleep and see a cutscene of Joja Mart breaking something. Day 49, I start the day by going to town, where Morris and his group are waiting to congratulate me on completing all the repairs in town. They reward me with a soda machine. Afterward, I go back home and carefully place the soda machine next to my bed. Then, I use a dessert totem to travel to the desert and spend the rest of the day in the Skull Cavern. During my exploration, I find a lucky ring but eventually pass out at 2 a.m. on floor 96. Day 50. My blueberries are ready, so I start the day by harvesting them all. Then, I head to town and get a quest from Haley to bring her a pufferfish. Next, I go to Pierre's to sell the blueberries. Afterward, I visit Willie, who shows me a ship in his back room that he needs help repairing with some materials. With this ship, he can take me to a tropical island. Following the cutscene, I go to Clint's to open some geodes, and then I donate the artifacts to the museum. I head to the mountains and encounter Willie again, who gives me a copper pan. Then, I go to the cave and craft some furnaces, filling them with iridium ore. Exploring the cave next to the quarry, I find a golden side at the end. As I go to sleep, I see Mr. Che dropping mystery boxes from a plane, indicating that I can now find mystery boxes. Day 51. I lost the footage, so I'll explain what happened. My beads were ready, so I went to the mayor's house and placed them in his fridge. Mr. Che then gave me the final task to feed the sand dragon. I went to the desert and fed the dragon a solar essence. Mr. Che instructed me to check the pile of lumber next to my house, where I found the club card. After that, I planted some wild seeds and strawberry seeds in the greenhouse. I collected the iridium bars from my furnaces and set some gold bars to smelt. I spent the rest of the day in the mines and reached level 10 in mining, choosing the blacksmith profession, which makes bars worth 50% more. Day 52, Gunter visits me and gives me the rusty key. I start the day by going to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. Afterward, I visit Robin and pay her to expand my house. Next, I go to Clint's to upgrade my pickaxe. I spend the rest of the day on my farm, chopping trees, and then head to bed. My combat skill is now at level 8, and my foraging skill has also reached level 8. Day 53. I check my mail and find a request from George for a hot pepper. Luckily, I have some hot peppers and radishes ready to harvest, so I gather them all. While running around town, I spot a worm spot, dig it up, and find a mystery box. I then go to George's house and give him the hot pepper. Despite his complaints about the delay, I deliver it at 9:10 a.m., just 10 minutes after his house opens. Next, I head to the board and take a quest to find for rainbow trout. I spend the rest of the day fishing in the mountains, but manage to catch only one rainbow trout. Afterward, I visit the cave to collect whatever I had put to smelt. Back at my farm, I sell 10 iridium bars and today's fish, then I go to sleep. Day 54, I start my day by harvesting all my blueberries. Then I head to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. Afterward, I go to Clint's to receive my golden pickaxe. Remembering I have the rusty key, I use it to open the sewer. Inside, I find Krobus, who sells a lot of interesting items. I buy a Stardrop from him. Next, I go to the mountains and fish from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., trying to find rainbow trout, but I don't catch any. I return to my farm, sell whatever I caught, and then go to sleep. Day 55, my house is upgraded, so I move the soda machine to a spot where I think it looks better. I then collect some battery packs and head to the secret woods to farm hardwood. Afterward, I go to Pierre's shop and buy 5 seeds of each type except for sunflowers, which I buy from Jojamart at half price. I go to the cave and collect 5 iridium bars. Next, I head to Willie's shop and use the materials to fix the boat in the back room, placing the 5 battery packs, 200 hardwood, and 5 iridium bars. With all the materials found, the boat will be repaired overnight. I explore the cave next to the quarry, where I encounter and kill some skulls. A cursed mannequin drops, and I find a blue skeleton that hits me, sending me to the hospital. After recovering by eating 3 salads, I return to take my revenge and explore the cave a bit more. It seems like a good spot to farm coal. Back home, I place the cursed mannequin next to my soda machine and go to sleep. I see the cutscene of Robin and Willie repairing the boat. Day 56. Today is the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies event. I spend the entire day farming iron ore before the event starts. With all the iron I collect, I craft 65 bombs. In the evening, I attend the event and enjoy watching the beautiful moonlight jellies. Afterward, I head back to my farm and go to sleep. Day 57, it's the first day of the new month, so I have a lot of work to do. I start by cleaning my farm from the previous season and replacing some sprinklers with iridium ones. Then I head to Pierre's shop and buy as many pumpkin seeds as I can, 520 to be exact. I go back to my farm and begin planting as many seeds as possible, but I quickly realize I need more space. I start setting up iridium sprinklers in other parts of my farm, digging and planting more pumpkin seeds, but I quickly realize I need more space. I set up another row of iridium sprinklers and start digging again. After planting more pumpkin seeds, I still have some seeds left, so I plant those in the greenhouse. Craft some scarecrows and place them around the farm. However, I pass out before I can place the last one in the corner. At least I get level 10 farming, and I chose the agriculturist that make all the crops grow 10% faster. Day 58, I start the day by placing the last scarecrow. After that, I harvest the wild seeds I planted in the greenhouse and plant more. Heading into town, I find Lewis and Robin building a special orders board. I check the board and take the community cleanup quest. Then, I go to Pierre's to sell whatever I have to make enough money to buy a ticket for the boat to Ginger Island. Once I arrive at Ginger Island, I explore a bit and find a box with tent kits after I find a golden walnut. In a tree house, I hit something and get another golden walnut. I feed one to a parrot, triggering a cutscene with a kid who doesn't speak. I continue searching for golden walnuts, finding a parrot that can help locate them for a fee. After gathering enough walnuts, I feed the parrot to remove the turtle blocking access to the other side of the island. I need 20 more golden walnuts to unlock the house, so I place a box in front of it to store some items. Find a journal scrap and read it. Later, I meet an old lady who gives me a photo, thinking it will help me find what she's seeking. I find a few more golden walnuts before returning to my farm to sleep. During the night, there was a strong windstorm. Day 59, I go around to check for damage caused by the strong windstorm and find that the old tree is gone. I can fix it if I have 100 pieces of hardwood, so I start by going to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. It's not enough, so I head to Ginger Island to gather more. On Ginger Island, I find many large stumps and logs that provide a good amount of hardwood. I also chop down some mahogany trees for additional hardwood. During my search, I come across a few golden walnuts and a cave that contains a puzzle. After completing the puzzle, I'm rewarded with 3 golden walnuts. I continue searching for more walnuts and return to fix the old tree. But I encounter Shane drinking and talking about how bad he feels. I try to fix the old tree, but I end up building a house for something I don't know yet. Finally, I go to sleep. Day 60, I start my day by going to my greenhouse to harvest the wild seeds and strawberries. After that, I plant more wild seeds. Since I'm low on money, I decide to spend the entire day in the Skull Cavern, mining and gathering resources. Armed with plenty of bombs and food, I delve deep into the caverns, breaking rocks and fighting off monsters to collect valuable ores and gems. Eventually, I pass out at 2 a.m. Day 61, I start my day by heading to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. After gathering a decent amount, I spend most of the day mining iron ore, stocking up on this essential resource that I can use to craft bombs. Later, I try my luck fishing for a midnight carp, but unfortunately, I don't catch any. I return to my farm and pass out just outside my door. Day 62, I start my day by collecting the battery packs after harvesting the wild seeds I planted in the greenhouse and planting more. Afterward, I go to the mountains to place some crab pots I crafted. Then I head to the quarry and spend almost all day laying floors and calculating the best way to set up a tree farm with tappers on them. This process is quite satisfying, so I will speed it up for you. With the remaining time, I go fishing to catch a midnight carp, but unfortunately, I pass out without finding one. Day 63. I started the day by refilling my crab pots. After that, I returned to my farm to craft some tree fertilizer. Then, I went to the quarry and started planting trees, applying fertilizer to them. Afterward, I visited the secret woods to gather some hardwood. Then I wandered around, chopping trees to find acorn seeds, which I planted in the quarry. The rest of the day was spent fishing to find a midnight carp, and luckily, it was my lucky day as I found two. I smoked one of them and I continued fishing. After it was ready, I returned to my farm, sold whatever I had, and went to sleep. Day 64, I received a mail from Linus informing me that he lost his basket, so I set out to find it. However, I stumbled upon Linus behind a bush taking care of his business. Despite the interruption, I returned his basket to him. Next, I visited my greenhouse to harvest the wild seeds and planted more. Afterward, I went to the raccoon and gave him the smoked midnight carp that he wanted. Following that, I headed to the secret woods to chop some hardwood. Later in the day, I went into town and accepted a special quest that requires me to ship 100 pumpkins by the end of the season, although I had already planted a lot. With the remaining time, I spent the day mining iron to craft bombs in preparation for my plan to spend all day at the Skull Cavern tomorrow. After I returned to my farm and go to sleep. Day 65, I have everything I need and use a desert totem to travel early to the Skull Cavern. My plan is to spend the entire day there. On floor 39, I find a treasure containing a dark cowboy hat. Continuing deeper, on floor 100, I discover another treasure with 5 artifact troves. I push on until floor 135 and I passed out at 2 a.m. My combat level has now reached level 9. Day 66, I start my day by going to the cave to smelt some iridium ores. After that, I visit the raccoon and give him the 5 snails he wanted. He rewards me with 25 broccoli seeds, which is a nice surprise. Next, I head to my greenhouse to harvest the wild seeds and plant more. With that done, I go to Clint to open some treasure troves and mystery boxes. Then I head to the museum to donate the artifacts I found. After the museum, I visit Robin to buy a barn, which I place on my farm. Returning to the cave, I collect my iridium bars and set more iridium ore to smelt. I spend the rest of the day decorating my farm a little, making it look nicer. Then I go to sleep. Day 67, I start my day by going to the cave to collect my iridium bars. After that, I head to Ginger Island to explore the cave there. I spend the entire day inside the cave, finding some golden walnuts along the way. After managing to pass through all 10 floors, I find a treasure chest with a prismatic shard inside. I use the machine to enchant my weapon with a diamond, giving it 3 random bonuses. I'm impressed by my luck, as it adds extra damage, crit chance, and crit power. Even though it's late, I have collected enough golden walnuts to unlock the house on Ginger Island. I unlock it and sleep in my new house, feeling accomplished and excited about my progress. Day 68. I wake up in my new house on Ginger Island and decide to clean up the entire outside area. I spend the day breaking rocks and chopping wood until the area is fully cleared. Afterward, I lay down some flooring to make it look nicer. I carefully plan out the layout, creating neat pathways and sections for future planting. The flooring not only improves the aesthetics, but also helps in organizing the space. With the area looking more structured, I place some iridium sprinklers and plant the random seeds I have. I water them and then head to sleep, satisfied with the day's work. Day 69, I wake up on Ginger Island and head straight back to my farm. I check my greenhouse, plant some wild seeds, and discover that my sweet gemberry is ready to harvest. I immediately take it to the statue in the secret woods, which rewards me with a delicious Stardrop. Afterward, I go to Robin's and have her move my barn next to the coop. Then, I head to the cave to collect the copper bars I had smelted earlier and visit Clint to upgrade my hoe. Next, I go to buy some animals from Marnie. I buy for chickens and name them Chicken 1, Chicken 2, Chicken 3, and Chicken 4, but with only K and not C because why not? After when I edit it, I realize it. I also buy 4 cows and, predictably, name them Cow 1, Cow 2, Cow 3, and Cow 4. Returning to my farm, I feed the chickens and then the cows. I spend some time rearranging the floors on my farm, placing them in more useful spots. Finally, I sell whatever I have and I go to sleep. Day 70, my pumpkins are ready, so I start harvesting them. Unfortunately, I realize that one row didn't get watered by the sprinklers. Mistakes happen, so I remove the row and place flooring over it. I head to Pierre's to sell some pumpkins and buy more seeds to plant. Back on my farm, I plant the new seeds. Then, I go to my greenhouse to harvest all the wild seeds and plant more. After that, I visit Robin to buy a silo for my farm. I also stop by Pierre's shop again to purchase the grass starter recipe and some grass starters. Returning to my farm, I start decorating the area in front of my coop and barn to look little better than before. And after I go to sleep. Day 71, Lewis wanted to thank me for completing the special order, so he rewarded me with a mini shipping bin. I then realized my other pumpkins were ready, including the giant pumpkins. I harvested them all and using my axe on the giant ones. Afterward, I went to Pierre's to buy more pumpkin seeds. Back at the farm, I planted all the new seeds, fed my chickens and cows, and then headed to Clint's to upgrade my watering can. Next, I went to the cave to collect some copper bars and crafted as many tappers as I could. I placed the tappers on the trees in my quarry tree farm, and after I go to sleep. Day 72, today is the Stardew Valley Fair, so I start the day by collecting eggs from the coop. After that, I harvest all the wild seeds from the greenhouse and plant more. I head to the cave to pick up my iridium bars, prismatic shards, and diamonds, then make my way to the fair. At the fair, I set up my display with 3 diamonds, 3 prismatic shards, and 3 iridium bars. Afterward, I eat a few burgers and ask Lewis to judge my display. I win 2nd place. I then play the game with the green and orange spinner, winning most of the times and ending up with 5,092 points. I collect my items from the display and head to the shop to buy the Stardrop, the Rare Crow, the prize ticket, the hat, the light green rug, and the dried sunflowers. After I go back to my farm, I place the rug inside my house and go to sleep, and my foraging go up to level 9. Day 73. I start the day by collecting eggs from the coop. Afterward, I head to Clint's to pick up my copper watering can and give him my hoe for an upgrade. Then, I visit Lewis and see a cutscene explaining how the prize tickets work. I use the machine to exchange tickets, getting 12 broccoli seeds and 1 peach sapling. Next, I check the board and accept a quest from Lewis to give him an aquamarine. I grab one from the cave and deliver it to him, earning 540 gold as a reward. I then visit the saloon and put some eggs in the fridge. Go back on my farm, I plant the peach sapling and then head to Ginger Island. I spend the rest of the day chopping down all the trees existing in the Ginger Island, and after I go to sleep. Day 74, I start the day by waking up on Ginger Island and then heading back to my farm. I check on the animals, making sure they are fed, and collect the eggs. I also remove some flooring around the peach tree to help it grow better. As I go about my day, I encounter another raccoon selling different seeds. The raccoon also requests more food items, dried coconuts, and apple jelly. I head to my mushroom cave and put a coconut in the dehydrator. Next, I visit Pierre's shop and buy one of each type of fruit tree. Back at my farm, I plant all the new trees in the greenhouse. I also harvest the wild seeds and plant more. I spend the rest of the day in the mines farming iron ore, then return home to sleep. Day 75, I start the day by collecting the eggs from the coop. Then, I go to Clint's to pick up my newly upgraded steel hoe and hand over my watering can for its upgrade. Next, I head to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. After that, I buy an auto grabber for my cows, which saves me the need to buy a milking tool. I place the auto grabber in the barn and then chop some trees around the map. I visit Robin to upgrade my house. Afterward, I stop by the saloon to buy some salads. I spend some time in the cave farming ores. While fighting dust sprites, I complete a Master Slayer goal and receive the Burglar Ring from the Adventurers Guild. This ring is one of the best, as it increases the loot dropped by monsters. I spend the rest of the day in the mine, farming coal and iron. Before heading to bed, I craft some bombs, then I go to sleep. Day 76, I have everything I need for an all-day Skull Cavern run. I grab a few more items from the box and teleport to the desert. The fun begins as I start placing bombs around. Unfortunately, it seems like I have bad luck today because I encounter some infested floors. On floor 38, I find a treasure chest containing 5 warp totems. Later, on floor 74, I encounter a floor full of dinosaurs, so I stay and slay them all. I manage to reach floor 81 and check my loot. Despite the bad luck, it's still impressive. Thinking I might have enough time, I use a warp totem to return to my farm. However, I pass out just outside my house. Day 77, I start my day by going to the cave to smelt some iridium ore. Afterward, I return to my farm to collect the eggs from the coop. Next, I head to the greenhouse where I harvest the wild crops and strawberries and then plant more wild seeds. I visit Clint to pick up my steel watering can and give it back to him for another upgrade. Afterward, I donate some artifacts to the museum. I stop by the saloon to put some eggs in the fridge, finally completing the egg quest. I exchange my ticket for 10 random seeds. Later, I go to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. Back at the farm, I craft some cheese presses and place them in the barn. I also craft some mayonnaise machines and put them in the coop, and after I go to sleep. Day 78, my house is upgraded. I start the day by heading to my greenhouse to harvest all the wild seeds. After that, I use a totem to travel to the desert, but I arrived early and the shop is still closed. To pass the time, I start chopping some trees. In one tree, I find a circuit board shirt, and in another, I find a book titled Woody's Secret. This book gives a passive ability that felled trees have a 5% chance to yield double the wood. Once the shop opens, I buy some starfruit seeds and head back to my greenhouse to plant them. Later, I check the special orders board and take the community cleanup quest, which requires me to fish some trash. I head to the cave on the 100th floor and start fishing. I catch a lot of trash but also find a lava eel. After gathering all the required trash, I go to the recycling area to dispose of it. There, I encounter the wizard who talks about his past. Once he finishes, I put the trash in the recycling bin and head back to my farm to sleep. Day 79, I start the day by checking my mail and receive a recipe for fiber seeds. I head to the quarry to check on my tree farm and witness a cut scene of Linus happily swimming in the clear water. My oak resin is ready, so I harvest it. Next, I go to the cave to farm some iron ore and set it to smelt. Afterward, I visit Clint to pick up my golden watering can. With my new tool in hand, I head to Ginger Island and spend the rest of the day exploring, trying to find some golden walnuts, and after I go to sleep. Day 80, I wake up on Ginger Island and find a bird that drops an aquamarine. I place it in the correct spot as part of the island puzzle. Next, I give 10 golden walnuts to the parrot to unlock the bridge. I discover someone trapped in a mushroom cave, so I use a bomb to open the door and free Professor Snail. After that, I head to the volcano dungeon to combine my burglar's ring with the lucky ring, giving me extra luck and an increased chance of loot drops from monsters. Then, I return to my farm to gather some materials and collect the iron bars I smelted in the cave. Back at the farm, I craft some kegs, place them in front of my bed, and fill them with pumpkins. I also craft some cheese presses and place them in the barn. After feeding all the animals on the farm, I go to sleep. Day 81, I start the day by harvesting all my pumpkins, including one giant pumpkin. Afterward, I head to the cave to smelt some gold and do a bit of farming inside. Once the gold bars are ready, I grab them all and craft a few seed makers. Next, I visit Robin to upgrade my coop. After that, I travel to Ginger Island and place all the seed makers I crafted. I harvest all the crops on the island, put all the pineapples into the seed makers, and then plant the new seeds on the farm, and after, I go to sleep. Day 82, I wake up on Ginger Island and head back to my farm. I realize that my pumpkins are ready for harvest, so I spend some time collecting all the pumpkins I've planted. Then I head to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. Afterward, I spend the rest of the day chopping wood around the map, and at midnight I go to sleep. Day 83. Today is the Spirits Event Festival. I start my day by putting the milk in the machine to make cheese and the eggs in the machine to make mayonnaise. After that, I head to the secret woods to farm some hardwood. Then I spend some time chopping wood on my farm and around the map. When the time comes, I head to the Spirits Eve event. I buy the scarecrow from Pierre and go ahead to complete the maze. Upon completing it, I get rewarded with a golden pumpkin. After that, I go back to my farm and sleep. Day 84, I start my day by putting some eggs and milk into the machines to make mayonnaise and cheese. After that, I check the traveling cart and find it selling jelly. Remembering that the raccoon needs apple jelly, I decide to try my luck and see if he will accept this regular jelly. To my surprise, he accepts it and rewards me with a raccoon journal. This book gives a passive ability where weeds have a greater chance to yield mixed seeds. Next, I head to the secret woods to harvest some hardwood. Then, I go to Joja Mart to buy a few seeds of each type, just in case, since it's the last day of the month. After that, I visit Robin to upgrade my house. I then go to my quarry to plant more oak trees, knowing I'll need oak resin to craft a lot of kegs. Afterward, I chop down all my pine trees and plant more. I return to my farm to clean it up a bit, then spend some time chopping trees around the map. Finally, I go to sleep. Day 85. Today marks the first day of winter. I start by collecting my pumpkin juice, which is ready. Then I head to the raccoon to buy as many powder melon seeds as I can. After that, I visit the secret woods to chop some hardwood, then spend some time cutting trees around the map. Back on my farm, I plant the powder melon seeds and water them. When I try to go to the town, I spot a shadowy figure running away. I follow the footprints, which lead to a bush. When I shake the bush, the shadow guy jumps out and gives me a magnifying glass before running away. I spend the rest of the day mining bronze, put it to smelt, and then I go to sleep. Day 86, I start my day by collecting starfruit and strawberries from the greenhouse and planting a few more starfruit. Inside my house, I put the starfruit into the kegs to start making wine. After that, I head to the secret woods to chop some hardwood. I then check my tappers in the quarry and collect the oak resin. I spend the rest of the day in a cycle of mining and smelting ore. Once all the ore is smelted, I collect the bars and craft some kegs. I fill the new kegs with starfruit, and after I go to sleep. Day 87, I start my day by feeding my animals, then head to the secret woods for hardwood. After crafting iridium sprinklers in the cave, I take Gunter's special order to collect 100 bones. On Ginger Island, I clean my farm, chop trees, and gather bones. Completing quests for Dr. Snail earns me golden walnuts. I lay flooring for sprinklers on my island farm, and I put the iridium sprinklers, then spend time making seeds, hoping for an ancient seed, but have no luck. Finally, I go to sleep. My foraging reached level 10, and I chose the lumberjack profession. Now all the trees have chance to drop hardwood. Day 88, I start my day by harvesting some pineapples. Afterward, I put them into the seed machine. Once they're ready, I dig the soil, plant the seeds, and water them. Next, I begin decorating my farm on Ginger Island with flooring. I head to the cave to collect some bones and then visit the quarry to plant some oak trees. Returning to my farm, I feed the animals before going to sleep. And I reach level 10 in combat, and I chose the brute profession that he give me 15% more damage. Day 89, I remember on day 1 finding a cave that only the Master of 5 Ways could enter. I realize this refers to having maxed out skills in farming, mining, foraging, fishing, and combat. With all my skills now at level 10, I decide to check out the cave again and see what awaits inside. Inside the cave, I find a wall with 5 tools, each representing one of the skills. Let's check them all. The Combat Mastery perk provides the following benefits. Anvil Recipe grants the ability to reforge trinkets, randomizing their stats. Mini Forge Recipe allows the use of a dwarvish forge from the convenience of your home. And Trinket Slot unlocks a new equipment slot specifically for trinkets, which can be found during your adventures and grant special powers. The Foraging Mastery perk provides Mystic Tree Seed Recipe, enables you to plant and grow a special tree. Treasure Totem Recipe, use undiggable terrain to summon a ring of treasure spots. And gain the ability to find gold and mystery boxes which contain superior items. The Farming Mastery perk provides Iridium Scythe, can be used to harvest any crops and is excellent at gathering hay. Statue of Blessings Recipe allows you to craft a statue that grants a unique blessing each day. Golden Animal Crackers, these can now be found and permanently double a farm animal's produce excluding pigs. The Fishing Mastery perk provides Advanced Iridium Rod, used in the water to catch fish, allowing you to attach up to 2 bobbers simultaneously. Challenge Bait Recipe, craft bait that triples the fish caught with a perfect catch but reduces the catch if a fish escapes the fishing bar. You can now encounter golden fishing treasure chests, which contain valuable items. And last, the Mining Mastery perk provides Statue of the Dwarf King Recipe. Craft a statue that allows you to choose from 2 mining-related powers each day. Heavy Furnace Recipe. Craft a more efficient furnace than a regular one, requiring 25 pieces of ore and 3 coal per use. Gem-bearing rocks now grant twice the gems when mined. And in the middle is showing the final path that you get experience from your 5 skills. You can see it on your inventory, and I test how much experience you get from the book and is 125 experience. I'm visiting Robin to upgrade my coop. Afterward, I head to this special board to claim my ticket and exchange it for a Stardrop tea. I then visit Marnie to purchase for ducks. I name them Duck 1, Duck 2, Duck 3, and Duck 4. Back at the greenhouse, I harvest my star fruits and then head to the desert to buy some star fruit seeds. After I go to the mines to gather rocks for a mission. When I look for Robin in her house, she isn't there. Instead, I find her outside George's house. I speak to her and she rewards me with a ticket, which I exchange for a blue pinstripe double bed. Returning to the greenhouse, I plant the starfruit seeds and then feed the animals. Afterward, I begin redecorating my farm, and after I go to sleep. On days 90 and 91, I spent most of my time laying floors to make things look better. But on day 92, I won the Festival of Ice and got some great rewards. Afterward, I continued laying floors all night. On day 93, my starfruit wine was ready, so I collected it and placed it in casks to age. I filled the kegs with starfruit and decorated my farm a bit. I then visited Joja Mart to buy their catalog and returned to plant some pomegranate seeds on my farm. I checked the Joja catalog, and I went to my quarry to gather the ready oak resin and used it to craft more kegs, which I placed in my house and filled with pumpkins. After a bit more farm decoration, and after I go to sleep. On day 94, I visited Robin to relocate some buildings and purchased a shed to add to my farm. The rest of the day was dedicated to extensive farm decoration, refining every detail to enhance its aesthetic appeal. Day 95, I start my day by finishing the flooring decoration on one part of my farm. After that, I head to Ginger Island to harvest my pineapples and blueberries. I put all the pineapples in the seed maker, and once they're ready, I plant all the seeds I got. I then spend the rest of the day mining in the caves. When I get back home, I sell what I have and realize that I found something very cool, a pair of sand glasses. They look really good. At first, I thought I got them from a monster in the cave, but after reviewing the video, I realized I got them from a worm spot on my farm. Anyway, they look amazing. After that, I go to sleep. Day 96, I decide to farm the low floors in the mine to find artifacts that I want. The Ancient Seed and Dwarf Scroll Eye. I managed to find the Ancient Seed and go to Gunter to donate it. Then I go back to the cave and also find the Dwarf Scroll, but it's too late and the museum is closed. So I head back to my farm, put down some flooring, and go to sleep. Day 97, I start my day by going to the museum to donate the Dwarf Scroll and collect the Dwarvish translation guide. Now I can speak to the dwarf in the cave. I buy the Dwarvish safety manual, which gives me the passive ability to take 25% less damage from bombs, a floor recipe, and the rare crow. I spend the rest of the day flooring and decorating my farm. Unfortunately, I pass out on a baby bed, which apparently I can't sleep in. Day 98, I start my day by going to the mines to find a strange bun, and I manage to get one. After that, I visit Vincent and give him some grapes because he likes them. Then I head to the statue in the sewer to change some of my skill professions. Afterward, I go to the cave nearby to obtain the Dark Talisman. At the saloon, I see a cutscene where everyone tries Gus's omelet and loves it. I buy some coffee, recipes, and pepper poppers from Gus. Later, I go to the greenhouse to harvest my starfruits and pumpkins that are ready. I also fixed the layout of the sprinklers in the greenhouse as some suggested. The new layout uses 2 additional iridium sprinklers, which cost 2 iridium bars and 2 batteries each, but it provides just 1 extra space for crops. I wondered where I found these 2 extra iridium sprinklers for the greenhouse. After that, I farm some worm spots around the map, place a floor under the box, and plant the Ancient Seed. Finally, I go to sleep, having realized I messed up my farming skills but managed to set the correct ones for foraging. Day 99, I start my day by harvesting all my powder melons that are ready. Then I head to Ginger Island to process the powder melons into seeds. Afterward, I return to my farm to plant the seeds. After I visit the night market and solve the mermaid puzzle to get the pearl using the hints from Secret Note 15. I buy 2 rare crows and a painting at the market. Later, I go to the statue in the sewer to change my farming skill. After I go to sleep, this time I make sure to select the correct professions. Day 100, I start the day by feeding the cows and collecting the eggs from the coop. Afterward, I head to the train station and unlock the cave with the Dark Talisman. Inside, I fish for a while before going to Vincent to give him a gift. Now that he has 2 hearts, I can enter his room and place the strange bun to obtain a secret statue. Next, I go to the saloon and place duck mayonnaise in the box to obtain another secret statue. At the night market, I take a free coffee and then go deep into the ocean to fish, finding a super cucumber. I go to the secret spot near Clint's house, place the super cucumber, and obtain another secret statue. Finally, I return to my farm, sell some artisan goods, and go to sleep. And I got almost 120,000 gold. What we achieved in the first 100 days. Before, the farm started with a basic layout. After, significant improvements with well-organized decorated paths and expanded areas for animals and crops. The greenhouse is looking great so far with a variety of trees and some star fruits and strawberries. Ginger Island farm progress. Planted some pineapples and installed seed makers to make it a pineapple paradise. All my skills are maxed out. I've completed Joja, my house is upgraded to level 4. I've reached floor 135 in the Skull Cavern, found for Stardrops, and I'm nearing to close mastery skill level. And I make more than 1 million in 100 days. If you stay until the end of the video, I want to say thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, whether you're interested in seeing more of this game or if you have other suggestions for content you'd like to see.